Grand Rapids Police Chief Eric Winstrom has now officially been on the job for 1 year, and he's looking back at some of his accomplishments, but also the challenges he's faced during that time. Fox 17's Matt Whitko sat down with him to reflect on that time and what's in store for him and the department's future. Matt?
Josh, today marks Chief Winstrom's anniversary, and this afternoon we talked about a number of things, including the policies and procedures following the officer shooting death of Patrick Loyola, staffing levels, and the growing trend of crime among youth, and how he plans to address that issue as we head into the warmer months.
I feel very proud to be the chief here, but I'm very fortunate with the officers and the dispatchers and the civilian personnel that work here.
Chief Eric Winstrom sitting down with Fox 17 as he hits 1 year as Grand Rapids' top cop. We asked what he thinks one of his biggest accomplishments is.
I think probably the biggest just single accomplishment is guiding the department through the difficult time after the Patrick Loyola shooting. And that was not just Eric Winstrom doing it. That was a whole team effort. I was brand new when that happened, and I relied on the command staff, which is a lot of experience there.
You can see the transition in front of the station. For several months, fences and barricades stood in front of downtown's HQ following Loyola's death during a traffic stop in April.
I knew it looked ugly. This looks much nicer, but at least for that time, it got the job done, where we facilitated protests of literally hundreds, if not thousands of people right out here at Monroe Center. And there was a lot of passion, and there was a lot of yelling and screaming, but there wasn't that face-to-face where they're yelling right in the face of a police officer or pushing the police officers back and forth.
Not long after peaceful protests, new policies and procedures. He says Loyola's death did have a hand in the roadmap for the future of policing within the department.
We brought in de-escalation training, self-regulation training, constitutional policing training. We're switching to a model use of force training involving Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So it's less strikes, more holds, and control tactics.
We also asked about his goals now entering his second year.
That's our biggest challenge, to get our 30 vacancies filled. But I think I've seen the pendulum swing to the point where I think we're very optimistic that we're going to make really good strides in recruiting this year and really start filling those vacancies, so that we'll be able to focus not only just on answering 911 calls, investigating crime, but really working on building that trust with the community.
You can see some of the recruitment efforts inside GRPD's lobby. The men and women in the lightly colored blue shirts are interns.
If you can handle it at the front here, because I can hear sometimes up in my office, because we share a lobby. I hear people screaming down here, crying down here, whatever. And so these interns are dealing with that. And if you have a full day of that, and if you can tolerate it and go home and think, I made a really positive difference today in somebody's life under really stressful circumstances.
Winstrom says a big challenge he would like to accomplish is having more patrol officers.
So we're going to be using the DICE program, for example, to make sure that our officers are down in the areas where they should be, and not as some occupying army, not over-policing. We're going to be doing it in conjunction with the community and letting the community know, hey, this is where we're seeing the issues of increased amounts of violence, and we're going to work with you.
The numbers show GRPD seized over 500 illegal firearms in 2022, one recent case being from a 13-year-old.
The fact that we took about 30 off the streets from juveniles without any injuries to either the officers or the juveniles is good. We need to get that message out there that it is time for the youth in Grand Rapids to just embrace conflict resolution, put the guns down.
Crime among youth is a growing issue, with Fox 17 covering several Hyundai and Kia thefts in GR and around West Michigan. Recent city data shows the number of motor vehicle thefts overall is up from 908 in 2021 to over 1,400 this past year. Numbers Winstrom is hoping to cut down on in 2023.
We did a great job identifying offenders, making arrests, and then turning it over to the juvenile justice system to say, who else is going to help here? What sort of programs are you going to do for these kids that are offending to make sure that they don't reoffend? And
the chief says they have ongoing sports programs in the summer, and he plans to have a more active role with the Boys and Girls Club. Winstrom adds it's going to take an active role from the community when it comes to the well-being of the city's youth.
And we need more adults in the city to really step up, take an interest in the welfare of our youth, to make sure that all the kids in Grand Rapids have the ability to grow up, go home safe at night, and not be victimized by either gun violence or the threat of gun violence, the fear that creates.
His message to the people who live, work, and visit GR as he moves forward into his tenure here.
You want to get to the point where no matter what part of the city you live in, you're safe from gun violence, you're safe from property theft, you can safely park your vehicle without getting stolen, and we want people to have that feeling that where they live is safe, no matter where you are in the city. We want everybody to feel that way.
The chief also says he wants to increase the number of social workers paired with officers. The pilot program shows that licensed social workers have access to medical information that officers don't. To see more of our interview with the Chief Winstrom, head to fox17online.com. In studio, I'm Matt Whitkos, Fox 17 News.